Right now, inside your skull, the largest biological experiment in history is happening. AI isn't just changing industries, it's hacked your brain. It's rewiring your synapses, restructuring how you think. Humanity's role on this planet has changed for good. Your mind will never be the same. To understand this mutation, rewind 50,000 years to when the wiring began. His brain runs 3 programs: find calories, find shelter, survive the night. Honestly, simpler than your inbox. One flicker of lost focus here means death. His attention doesn't fracture, it's a laser. For a few seconds, 2 nervous systems are doing the exact same math. This is the baseline. For 95% of human history, this is all a brain had to be good at. 10,000 years later, a new mutation. His descendant learns to wait. He plants in spring for a harvest he won't see for months. His brain now has to hold a future that hasn't happened yet. That's new. That's expensive. For the first time, a human mind starts counting, not prey, but days. And a strange trade gets made. Less danger in exchange for a lifetime of worry that never fully switches off. Enough for tomorrow, if nothing goes wrong. He's already thinking about tomorrow. That's the whole point. Cities arrive, and with them, a problem the hunter never had. Strangers he has to trust without knowing their face. So he invents a workaround, a memory that lives outside his own skull. It's a clever trick, really. The first time a human being outsourced his mind to an object. Now a promise can outlive the moment it was made in. A debt, a law, a name. Humanity's very first database, and somebody's already bragging about it. Fast forward to smoke and steel, and a sound no human brain had ever had to obey. A bell. Not the sun, not hunger, a schedule someone else wrote for him. For the first time in human history, attention gets rented out by the hour. Some of the hands doing this work are barely old enough to count past 20. The machine doesn't check birth certificates. The hunter's brain was built for one sharp burst of focus, then rest. This body wasn't built for 12 hours straight. The men change. The machine doesn't. It's already teaching an entire species to set its clock by something that never gets tired. Nobody asked his prefrontal cortex if it agreed to this. It just had to learn, and it did. Then television learned something the factory bell never could: how to hold a gaze without asking permission. An hour disappears, then 2. Nobody rang a bell for that one. Nobody had to. Somewhere in this decade, a whole generation gets raised, in part, by a box in the corner of the room. And somewhere in a marketing office, someone is taking very careful notes on exactly why that works. To be fair, there were only 3 channels. Somehow that felt like enough to lose an evening to. For the first time, a screen learns to keep you there longer than you meant to stay. The hunter watched the grass for danger. She's watching a screen that's learned to watch her back. Leo is 15. It's his birthday. The gift is a small glass rectangle, and it already knows more about who he'll become than the woman who just handed it to him. He signs up in under a minute. The app asks for his name, his age, his location, and starts building a model of his mind before he's even posted once. That night, the first scroll. One video, then another. Then he stops counting. He posts something small, just to see. The number climbs, and something in his chest lights up along with it. At dinner, his body is at the table. The rest of him checks out just slightly, over and over. On the walk to school, an invitation gets a half wave instead of a yes. For the first time, his brain learns to hand over its attention completely, in exchange for one small hit of now. That night and the night after, the scroll doesn't really end. It just gets interrupted by sleep. His hunter ancestors fell asleep watching for predators. Leo falls asleep mid-scroll. Morning. Before his own name, before his own thoughts, the feed comes first. It's not a decision anymore. It's a reflex. His social bonds start to thin, one scroll at a time. This is where it begins. 17. A history essay due at 8 a.m. He hasn't started. Someone at school mentioned a shortcut. He tells himself it's just to get unstuck. The essay arrives in the time it takes to blink. Whatever anxiety was sitting in his chest a second ago, gone. He doesn't read it closely. There's no need to. His brain is optimizing for energy. This is cognitive outsourcing. Why spend 3 hours wrestling with a hard idea when the answer arrives for free? Next morning, he turns it in. A perfect grade. For words he doesn't actually remember writing. The circuits built for wrestling with hard ideas go a little quieter from disuse. The next assignment, he doesn't hesitate at all. Or the one after that. A classmate asks him to explain one of his own arguments. He can't. Not really. He never actually built the argument in his own head. One evening, the AI is down for maintenance, and for a moment, faced with an ordinary problem, he doesn't know how to begin. It comes back, slowly, like a muscle relearning its own weight. But by senior year, the pattern is set. He graduates with excellent grades. Nobody asks how much of it was really his. 20 years old. Time for the big decision. What to actually do with a life. An app promises to answer it in 10 minutes. It already has years of his data to work with. Every like, every hesitation, every scroll speed. It doesn't ask him what he wants. It tells him what he already is. He hesitates for exactly 1 second, then agrees. An algorithm has just quietly told a 20-year-old who to become, and he said yes without a fight. He enrolls. Around him, an entire generation is walking the same way, present and somewhere else. Even the syllabus was written by a machine, optimized for his exact learning pace. It feels less like being taught and more like being maintained. Even his first internship gets suggested to him before he thinks to look. He doesn't compare the options. Why would he need to? His mother asks him one evening, why data design? He starts to answer twice, stops both times. I don't know, he finally says. It just felt right. She doesn't push, but something in her face notices. That night, alone, the question sits with him a little longer than he expects. Not regret, just a small, unfamiliar itch of, whose idea was this, really? By morning, it's gone. A human mind just handed its will over to a silicon advisor, and mostly, it feels fine. 24. Leo's world has become remarkably efficient and remarkably sterile. He opens an app built to solve exactly this. The conversation flows perfectly. Too perfectly, maybe. He's smiling, just not at anyone in the room. On the nights the app doesn't line up a match, there's another one that's always awake, always patient. It never gets tired of him, never says the wrong thing, never needs anything back. And slowly, his brain stops practicing the harder version of connection, the one with friction and risk and real cost. Outside, the world is automating around him too.
A whole transaction, start to finish, without needing another person at all. Then, an old friend, someone real, spots him and comes over grinning. Leo tries to keep up. It's harder than he expects. His hand drifts toward his pocket mid-sentence. He catches it, puts it back. His friend notices, doesn't say anything. They say they'll catch up soon. Neither of them really believes it. That night, Leo opens the easier conversation instead. It's there immediately. It's always there immediately. His apartment is comfortable, quiet, well organized. He isn't sad exactly. He's just not practicing the harder thing anymore. The machine never betrays him, never judges him, always finds the right words. He chose the safe digital surrogate. Most nights, he doesn't notice he's choosing anything at all.
28. Full autopilot. A voice reads him his own day before he's even opened his eyes. Even his reflection has opinions now. In his 10 o'clock meeting, an AI version of him does the talking. The real Leo just approves what it says, one click at a time. 95% of his week runs without him. He tells himself this is what winning looks like. At home, groceries arrive already chosen, optimized down to the gram. He stands there a beat longer than the task requires. Nothing in there was ever something he wanted, only something correct. One evening, for once, the app actually asks him to choose. He hovers there, genuinely uncertain, like the choice itself feels unfamiliar. He picks the easier answer, same as always. By Friday, the log shows 200 small decisions made this week. He personally remembers making maybe 4 of them. His brain has quietly stopped doing the small, unglamorous work of choosing. A colleague nearby tells a story about their assistant getting something hilariously wrong. Leo laughs, and for half a second envies the mess of it. That night, everything runs exactly on schedule, and Leo just sits there, in a life that requires almost nothing further from him. The prefrontal cortex, built over millennia by wrestling with chaos, is now in a deep, comfortable, artificial sleep. Nobody had to ask his permission. It just learned, and it did. And now, Leo is 35, successful by every measure that used to matter. Tonight, for no particular reason, he actually looks at himself in the glass. Behind him, the quiet hum of a life almost entirely arranged by something else. And a thought arrives, unprompted, the same one this whole story has been building toward. Every mind on that timeline got rewired by its world. His question is simpler and harder than any of theirs. How many of the thoughts in my head are actually mine? He doesn't have a clean answer. His brain was rewired exactly like the ancient hunters, the medieval farmers. Same wiring, same species, same brain. The difference is only speed. It took the hunters' descendants 10,000 years to become farmers. It took the farmers' descendants 5,000 more to become scribes. It took the factory workers' grandchildren one lifetime to become screen watchers. It took Leo 20 years. Nobody sat him down and asked if he agreed to any of it. And yet, here he is, the first generation with enough distance to actually watch it happen. The outcome of this experiment hasn't been written yet. This time, before he opens anything, he pauses, on purpose. That pause is new. Right now, with your next request to an AI, you're doing the same thing he just did, choosing who shapes the next version of your mind. You or it? That part, at least, is still up to you.
So, if that question is worth sitting with, subscribe.
It is the same choice every time you open the app.